Those pay raises are funded through the state budget that took effect on July 1st. That budget includes 4% cuts to almost all state agencies, including the House and Senate. The biggest hurdle facing the new lawmakers is crafting the next budget that must include funding for Medicaid expansion. Rory Taylor reports that'll be a tough task, given pandemic-induced revenue shortfalls.
This fall has been something of an anomaly in state budget making.
Generally, by October the 1st, agencies have turned in their requests. But because of COVID, and we allowed them to go until November 1st. And so our subcommittee chairs are simply going out to the agencies, sitting down with them. What are your requests? What are your expenses?
One such agency, the Office of Management and Enterprise Services.
OMES has really worked to fill a lot of gaps in supporting other state agencies. We're obviously experiencing a lot of state agencies working telework. OMES is helping support other state agencies in that, making sure that our state's cyber secure, doing different things like that. So as we took on these new responsibilities, obviously having a lot to handle all at the same time, we just asked the legislature to give us a little more time to organize everything.
Well, it has been a difficult year. You know, from the Board of Equalization number they gave us in February, and then by the time that we were able to write the budget, we were down $1.3 billion. And that was the estimate coming in. That hit our budget really hard, and we had to go back and look at most agencies. They averaged about a 4.5% across the board cut to most agencies.
To get a better idea of what projections will define next year's budget, I spoke to a couple of economists here in Oklahoma.
Well, I think it really depends on everything related to the path of the virus. And not necessarily the virus itself, but how consumers, businesses, and governments respond to trends in the virus.
Compared to 2019's high point, this October's annual tax revenue rate was down $789 million, which is still up $600 million from last year's projection. But that's not a surefire sign of recovery.
So ultimately, I want to say, okay, what is the source of this? And I've identified that source to be energy. Big surprise. You take the diesel and gasoline tax plus severance taxes, that takes us down $703 million versus the almost $800 million that we lose overall.
And that's been reflected in Oklahoma's unemployment rates, as energy jobs are down a little more than 25% from last year.
We do a survey each quarter. We did our last one the end of September, and expectations were for some further job cuts over the next 6 months. No more deterioration in drilling or overall business activity, but like I mentioned, still a continued cutting back on workforce.
With such stark drops in the energy industry, policymakers are on a much tighter budget and still need to fund the new Medicaid expansion, a roughly $168 million expense.
Last year, we were able to raise SHOP, the Supplemental Hospital Offset Payment Program, from 2.3 to 4%, picked up $134 million. The governor vetoed that. I'm not sure what the appetite is going to be of the legislature this year to go back and look at that same vote. And I think that's going to be a hard vote to get.
But with oil and gas dependent on travel and commerce, economists expect that a true economic upturn will be waiting until a COVID vaccine is widely available.
There's every indication we're going to have a very tough winter. And I think that will probably lead to more batting down the hatches by people, sequestering more, not going out. We're likely to get some kind of stimulus package rescuing the 11.4 million people that are about to lose their benefits after Christmas. So maybe something will happen there fairly soon to help shore up expenditures.
Rory Taylor, the Oklahoma News Report.
Rory, thank you. The first estimates of a legislative budget would be coming out in December.